Hello, welcome back to another deck tech. This time we're talking about my golem deck. This is a Golgari list, and my commanders are Iktekik, Salvage Splicer, and Cascade the Flesh Sculptor. Iktekik is a 5-mana 1/1 human artificer that says on ETB we create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token, and whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Iktekik and a +1/+1 counter on each golem you control. The golem Iktekik is creating, and Iktekik itself, just like Cascade, were errated to Phyrexian. Like, he's a Phyrexian human artificer. Wait. Details. Yeah, Phyrexian human artificer, and he's creating a Phyrexian golem, and he also is Phyrexian human artificer. So yeah, this deck is concentrating on just having or getting some big creatures on the board and then killing our opponents with combat damage. And Cascade is our card advantage engine. It's a 3-mana 1/3 Phyrexian human artificer. Now he's showing a new version because he got reprinted in the Aftermath precon. And his ability is an activate ability for tapping. Sorry, my microphone and headset turned off. So tapping and sacrificing 3 other artifacts and/or creatures. Then look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the other one into your graveyard. So most of the time we depend on Cascade a lot, like just because of the card advantage. And then later in the game we play Iktekik, and basically the next turn after we want to win the game. So yeah, we're playing 2 Planeswalkers. The first one is Garruk Wildspeaker. For 4 mana, we get a loyalty Planeswalker with 3 loyalty counters. The +1 is untap 2 target lands. The -1 is create a 3/3 beast creature token, and the -4 is the overrun effect, which actually is quite helpful. And yeah, and the second Planeswalker is Eugen the Ineffable. Ineffable? I think it's pronounced like this. For 6 colorless mana, we get Planeswalker with 4 loyalty. His static ability is colorless spells we cast cost 2 less to cast. And +1 is exile the top card of your library face down and look at it. Create a 2/2 colorless spirit creature token, and when that token leaves the battlefield, we put the exile card into our hand. And the -3 is destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. You might think that this is a very good card in this deck, but actually we are not playing too many colorless spells. Like you can see, we are playing more than other decks, but still not too many. And yeah, so it's a good card, no question. But there are definitely plenty decks out there where he definitely performs better. So then the first creature card is Academy Manufacturer. It's an artifact creature for 3 mana, and it says whenever we create a clue, food, or treasure token, we instead create 1 of each. And yeah, we are trying to create tokens like fruits, treasures, or clues. I wanted this deck list to focus on clue tokens because that's what I do. I'm building a clue deck for every 2-color combination. But black really doesn't have a good clue creation. And like green has some, and we're playing it no matter how bad it is. But yeah, so Academy Manufacture. Then we're playing Arc-bound Reclaimer. It's for 4 mana. We get a golem creature with modular 2, so it enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counter, and when it dies, we move all of the +1 counter on it onto another target artifact creature. And it has an activated ability for removing a +1/+1 counter from it. We can put an artifact card from our graveyard on top of our library. I had a Mystic Forge in it, but I did remove it because we really don't have too many colorless spells, and yeah, that's the reason. But it's still good. It does save some artifacts from, for example, graveyard hate or to set up our next turn. So, and it's a golem, so we played. Then we're playing Armix Filigree Thrasher, a 3-mana 3/2 legendary artifact creature golem, and on attack, like when it attacks, we may discard a card. If we do, target creature defending player control gets -X/-X, and where X is the number of artifacts we control plus the number of artifact cards in our graveyard. This is a very good card. It's super annoying for our opponents since they have to deal with it before we remove like 2 or 3 big threats from them. And since it's --, it does get around indestructible. And yes, I have been removing an Arbigen with it, which was great. Next card is Birds of Paradise. Everyone knows it. Then we are playing Briar Bridge Patrol, 4 mana, 3/3 human warrior. When Briar Bridge Patrol deals damage to one or more creatures, investigate. And at the beginning of each end step, if we sacrifice 3 or more clues this turn, we may put a creature card from our hand onto the battlefield. To be honest, I've been playing this deck for like 1.5 years by now, and I've been playing it quite a lot, and I've never put a single creature card with it onto the battlefield. Not because I haven't been sacrificing 3 clues in a turn. It's just because I never actually played this card because most of the time I have something better in my hand. So yeah. Next card is Campus Guide, 2 mana, 2/1 artifact creature golem, and on ETB we can search our library for a basic land card and put it on top of our library. No, we search our library for a basic land card, shuffle, and then put that card on top. This is just because we are playing not too many lands, and especially not too many basics, and sometimes it's just good to have a basic land. And this just provides us with a more secure starting hand. Like normally you wouldn't necessarily keep a 2-land hand, but with this in your hand, it's fine. So yeah, I'm not saying this is a good card, but it's a golem that's doing something, so I'm playing it. And then I'm playing Champion of Lamphold, 3 mana, 1/1 human warrior. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lamphold's power can't block creatures you control. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Champion of Lamphold. This is sort of our win enabler, so glad to have it. Then we are playing Cradle Clearcutter, 6 mana, 3/6 artifact creature golem with prototype. When we cast it for its prototype cost, it's a 1/3 and has the ability like it always has the ability to tap, add an amount of green to your mana pool equal to its power. Since our commander is putting +1/+1 counter on our golems, this really often taps for like 7 mana. So yeah, pretty good. And I never played it for 6. I'm always playing it for 3. So yeah, then we are playing Disciple of the Vault. 1 mana, whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may have target opponent lose 1 life. This is a great card. It's just 1 mana. You just play it as soon as you have a deck that, or as long as you have a deck that's doing what he wants you to do on when you're just doing it, then play it. And he's even better because he also sees your opponent's graveyard. So yeah. Then we're playing Elves of the Deep Shadow. I really, really like mana dogs that like shift you into another color. Like an elf that costs green and taps for green is good, but in a 2-colored decks, I like those more, or birds even better, right? Then we're also playing Elvish Mystic and Finthorn Elf. Then Galagritas, just a good card. So yeah, then we're playing Geode Golem, 5 mana, 5/3 Golem with Trample. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, we may cast a commander from the command zone without paying its mana cost. You still have to pay its additional costs, like command tax. This actually did work more than once, so very happy to have it because we have a 5 mana commander. So yeah. Next card, Gilded Goose. I like that card a lot. This is like, I would say, the one single deck where I actually use its activate ability to create a food once in a while. And yeah. Then we're playing in Gingerbread. I absolutely love this card. I know it's not necessarily a good card, but guess what? It's a golem. And yes, I've been killing players with it since I can get it to be like 10/10 in 1 turn. So yeah. Then we are playing Glisser the Traitor, 3 mana, 3/3, first strike, death touch, zombie elf. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, no, whenever, yeah, basically dies, is put into a graveyard from play. You may return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. This is great. Also, like, very good in combination with Armix, where you discard an artifact card to then kill a creature a defending player controls, and then Glisser triggers, and you get that artifact card back into your hand. Maybe another, whatever. So yeah, I like that card a lot. I don't like it being your commander. I don't know, I feel like the deck is too straightforward. But yeah, in the 99, I like it a lot. Then we're playing Golden Guardian, 4 mana, 4/4 with Defender, Golem, and for 2 mana, Golden Guardian fights another creature you control, and when Golden Guardian dies this turn, return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. So you like you get that thing flipped. If it's like if someone is playing a board wipe and you have the 2 mana open, you can have it fight the best creature you control, since everything's gonna get destroyed anyway with the board wipe, and then it just says if it dies this turn, return it to the battlefield. And also, I can activate this ability, let him fight with my least valuable creature, and then if he didn't die, I can still sacrifice him into my commander, for example, to get the backside. And the backside is a land that taps for 2 mana of any one color, or for 4 mana tap, we create a 4/4 colorless golem artifact creature token. Then we're also playing Jaheira, Friend of the Forest, 3 mana, 2/3 human elf druid. Tokens you control have tap, add 1 green mana to your mana pool. This is great. Again, this is like a card, just like, where was it? It's a card that has a lot of potential, can be super good. And in this deck, it's just good. Not too crazy, but I'm glad I can play it. Next card is Joria's Familiar, 4 mana, 2/2 flying bird, artifact creature. Historic spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's actually a lot of spells we have are historic, so yeah, very good card. Then we are playing the new Khan, Legacy Reforged, for 5 mana. We get this legendary artifact creature Golem with power and toughness equal to the highest mana value among artifacts you control. So just by itself, it's a 5/5. And at the beginning of your upkeep, add an amount of colorless mana to your mana pool equal to the number of artifacts you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells, which means it's like the Power Stone mana. You can either cast artifact spells with it, or pay for activate abilities or triggered abilities, like what it's called, Smothering Tithe, for example. Then we're also playing Kodama of the West Tree, 3 mana, legendary creature Spirit with Reach, and modified creatures you control have Trample, and whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. This is a card that I'm thinking about cutting, because I'd either have to change the land base for it, because I really am not playing too many basic lands, and I am playing cards like Cultivate and Kodama's Reach, which are already searching a lot of basic lands. And I only have one non-basic land that I can find with my Nature's Law, Three Wizards, and Skyshot Claim. So having too much basic land search, it's just not good, because you end up having the trigger on the stack but fail to find, and that's I feel bad. But also I need to be able to give my golems trample. So during the time that I'm searching for a better trample enabler, I'm gonna stick with that. Yeah. Next card, Kuldotha Forge Master, 5 mana, 3/5, artifact creature, construct, sadly not a golem. Tap, sacrifice 3 artifacts, search your library for an artifact card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Short story. I was in another LGS where I haven't been before, and I was playing this deck, and I played Kuldotha, and it survived the whole round table. Like I still had it in my next turn, so I activated its ability, and one opponent was like, "Oh god, here comes Portal to Phyrexia," and I was like, no. And then I searched for the Triplicate Titan, which no question is a good card, but definitely not as it doesn't have as much impact as a for example Portal. So the moment I picked Triplicate Titan and put it on the battlefield, he was like, "Huh? Are you not playing it?" And I was like, "Nope, no, I'm not." And I still didn't add it. I have one copy laying around, but I feel like it's kind of too good, because this is a deck that I mostly want to play with, like when I'm playing with people who are not playing too good decks. And I mean, this is already not bad. This deck definitely can win. But yeah. Our next card, Llanowar Elves. Now you might ask yourself why I'm not playing the Arbor Elf. Again, it's just that I'm not playing too many forests, and having an Arbor Elf that is doing nothing feels really bad. So yeah. Then Marionette Master. I think everyone knows it by now. Definitely has won me some games. One game that was quite funny. I had an opponent, and he was on 3 life, and I had no way to sacrifice one single artifact. So I had to pass the turn to him, and he played a Hensi Torah toolbox decks. And then he blitzed out. Is it blitz in English? I think it is. I'm gonna say that he blitzed out. Yeah, it's blitz, right? It's not dash. He blitzed out that um 9 mana Eldrazi that reanimates a creature on cast and has Annihilator 2. And I also had like 5 life or so, and one 3/6 4/6 Marinette Master blocker. And he attacked me, and then Annihilator 2 triggered, and I was able to sacrifice 2 artifacts into the trigger, and then before combat damage, have him lose 4 life, and that's the way I won the game. So yeah, pretty awesome. Then I'm playing Meteor Golem. It's a golem, 7 mana, 3/3. On ETB, we can destroy target non-land permanent. And yeah, we do have some ways to cheat it out. Like there's Kuldotha, right? And there's also Ruthless Technomancer, which I'm gonna talk about very soon. Then here is Nadia's Nightblade, 3 mana, 1/3 Elf Warrior. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I like this card a lot. Now we have the 12th of June 2023, so the Lord of the Rings set is spoiled completely, and there is this one bat creature for 4 mana that says whenever we create or sacrifice a token, every opponent loses 1 life. And I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna include it. Like, there are definitely, like, in most of scenarios, the bat is better than Nadia's Nightblade, but I just like this card design more. It costs 3 mana instead of 4, and I don't know, I like this more. It's an elf. I like elves, so yeah. Uh, Here we are also playing Pitiless Plunderer, 4 mana, and everyone knows it. We're playing Ruthless Technomancer, one of the best cards in this deck, I'd say. It's a 4 mana 2/4 human wizard and on ATB we can sacrifice another creature to create a number of treasure tokens equal to the sacrificed creature's power. And for 3 mana, sacrifice X artifacts, return target creature with power X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. X can't be 0. And guess what? Our very expensive 5 mana Planeswalker commander has power 1. And is making our golems very big. And yes, I had like 18 golems on the battlefield that I was like sacrificing into this, and then be able to bring back some creatures from my graveyard. So yeah, I like this card a lot, and I think it does see not as much play as it should. So yeah, and I'm gonna present to you my black-white clue deck in the near future, and there it's even better. Then we're playing Solemn Simulacrum. Everyone knows the sad robot, so yeah, we're playing Soulless Jailer, 2 mana, 0/4, artifact creature, Phyrexian Golem. Permanent cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield, and players can't cast non-creature spells from graveyard or exile. This is great against so many decks out there. There is so much cast from exile stuff coming out. So they're like Prosper. I hate playing against Prosper, and having this out is like also shutting down a lot of the removal because they are exiling the removal spells a lot, and then they can't cast it, which I like. And now you might wonder, okay, but the permanent cards in your graveyard that also uh, um, is something that you might want to do with, for example, with a Technomancer. The good thing, if I really like to return a permanent card from the graveyard to the battlefield, I always can sacrifice this into either this ability or my commander. So yeah, and I don't know. No, I don't. I have Spawning Pit as a sacrifice outlet too. So yeah. Then we're playing Timeless Witness. We're playing Tireless Parishioner and Tireless Tracker. Here you can read it if you don't know it. I'm not going to read it because I think everyone knows it. And same here. Then we're playing Tormod's Crypt Keeper. It's just like Tormod's Crypt, just on a 3-mana 3/2 golem body with Vigilance. So it's slightly worse because it has what it's called, Summon a Sickness. So yeah. Then we have Triplicate Titan, 9 mana, 9 mana, 9 flying Vigilance Trample Golem, and when it dies, we could create 1 3/3 Golem with flying, and 1 with Vigilance, and 1 with Trample, which is very nice. Then we're playing Winding Constructor. Winding Constructor says for black-green, Snake, if 1 or more counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters +1 are placed on that permanent instead. And if you would get 1 or more counters, you get that many of those counters +1 instead. So this is a card that you shouldn't play when you're playing against any infect strategies or toxic or poison, whatever. But when you're not playing against anything like that, then this is very good because it also sees your artifacts, not only your creatures. And it's not $90. Then we have Agadeem's Awakening. I think everyone knows it. We're playing All is Dust, 7 mana, tribal sorcery Eldrazi. Each player sacrifices all colored permanents he or she controls. For those who don't know it, lands are colorless except for this one land named Dryad Arbor. And then we're playing Balakid Recovery, a very good card. It's a tapped land on the backside. Also, everyone should know it. We're playing Cultivate and Kodama's Reach as our ramp spells. They're basically doing the exact same. Then we're playing Nature's Law and 3 Wizards as our 2 mana ramp sorceries. They're also doing the exact same. And we're playing Skyshroud Claim as our 4 mana sorcery. Very good. It's the only. No, it's not the only. There's this new 1 4 mana ramp sorcery from Lord of the Rings. Like the ring goes to the south or anything like this, it's called. Those are the 2 ramp sorceries I'm playing. Let me close this. So yeah. Right. Then we are playing Toxic Deluge. Oh god, so many Discord messages. Yeah. We're playing Toxic Deluge. I'd say definitely one of the best board wipes out there, and everyone should know it. And as you can see currently on Card Market, it's 14 euros and 48 cents. Then you also have to pay shipping, but it does get a reprint in the new Frodo, Sam, whatever food precon from Lord of the Rings. So yeah, happy to see the reprint. And then we're also playing Triumph of the Hordes, 4 mana, sorcery, until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 trample and infect. Definitely a card that I'm usually not playing, but I realized this deck really isn't that good at killing people, and this basically says you only have to deal like half the damage you would normally have to. So yeah, this is the one deck I'm playing this card in. And also, this deck has a small Phyrexian theme since we are creating some Phyrexian golems, and yeah, a bit kind of very small flavor included. Then we're also playing Abrupt Decay, 2 mana. This spell can't be countered. Destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 3 or less. We're playing Assassin's Trophy, 2 mana. Destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Beast Within, Heroic Intervention, Malakir Rebirth, also a really good MDFC card that you should definitely play. And Return of the Wild Speaker, a card that I love. I basically love everything from Throne of Eldraine. Then we're playing Arcane Signet, Forsaken Monument, also a very good card, and the card that's the reason why we are playing so many lands that tap for colorless. Then we're playing Golem Foundry, 3 mana artifact. Whenever we cast an artifact spell, we put a charge counter on it, and when we can remove 3 charge counters from it, we put a colorless 3/3 golem onto the battlefield. Let me look something. Okay, it hasn't been errata to a Phyrexian golem since probably just isn't a Phyrexian golem. Okay, but the set symbol, isn't this like, wait, if you, no, not full, not foil. I wanna, Scars of Mirrodin. Yeah, nah, never mind. So then we're also playing Ico Wellspring, 2 mana on ETB, and on basically LTB we draw a card. It's not legitimately LTB, but when it's put into our graveyard, we draw a card. And then we're playing Lightning Greaves, Zero Schematic, this is creating a 1/1 Zero token when it ETBs or is put into our graveyard. We're playing Soul Ring. We're playing Spawning Pit, which is actually a very good card, and it's definitely underplayed. So yeah, this is the one card where that enables a combo in this deck, but it's not like a 2-card combo. It's like 4 or 5-card combo. So in my opinion, still casual. Then we're also playing Spine of Ishtar, 7 mana. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target permanent, and when it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, we return it to our hand. When you are playing this and also playing the Sculpting Seal, then it's very strong. If you're only playing this, then it's just, yeah, 7 mana removal spell. Then we're playing Trading Post for a mana, and with a bunch of activated abilities that you can just read. And I think a lot of players already know this card, and it's great, and you should play it in your artifact decks. Then we're playing Fey Offering. I absolutely love this card, even though it's not from Throne of Eldraine, but it would fit that set, right? And it's actually, yeah, you can see the flavor text, True Lane Tale of Tales. It basically is from Throne of Eldraine. Did it actually get a print in Throne of Eldraine? No, right? No, it didn't. So, at the beginning of each end step, if you've cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, create a clue, treasure, and food token. And in the turn you cast it, it sees itself as the non-creature spell. You can cast this and any creature, and then you get the trigger at your end step, at the beginning of your end step. And then we're also playing Ulvenwald Mysteries. If you don't know, I also love the Ulvenwald. When I show you my red-green clue deck, you'll see. It's a 3 mana enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature we control dies, we investigate, and whenever we sacrifice a clue, we create a 1/1 human soldier token. So yeah, and then this is land base. We are playing artifact lands. There's the black one, the green one, and the color one, and the colorless one. Those are all the artifact lands we are playing. We're playing the Urza lands. Urza's mine, Urza's power plant, Urza's tower, and Urza's. Yeah, Urza's. Yeah. We're playing Boseiju, Command Tower, and I'll stop naming every land we're playing. Colors lands like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and all the others. We are playing them because of the Forsaken Monument. We're also playing this because of the Forsaken Monument. I like the Forsaken Monument. It's not from Throne of Eldraine, which is very sad. They should add a flavor text that is told by... Who's it told by? Let's say Ayara. Ayara? Yeah. So yeah, that's my golem deck. The one combo I want to tell you is Spawning Pit. It says, I didn't read it right. Sacrifice a creature, put a charge counter on it, and for 1 mana remove 2 charge counters from it. Create a 2/2 spawn artifact creature token. Very good. So when we have this plus Pitiless Plunderer plus Winding Constructor. Oh, it's a 3-card combo. It didn't. Okay. So those 3 cards allow us to have infinite amount of treasure entering the battlefield and infinite amount of 2/2 spawn artifact creature tokens enter the battlefield and being put into our graveyard. So we also need something like Nadia's Nightblade or Marionette Master, or maybe our commander is kind of a payoff for it, or Champion of Lampole. So we still need a payoff. But yeah, this is a combo. And when you don't have Pitiless Plunderer, just Winding Constructor and Spawning Pit means that for every single mana you have, you get an ETB from an artifact and a dying trigger from an artifact creature and an ETB from a creature, which is good because it helps us grow our team and our team. And that's good. Okay, so yeah. This is the deck. The deck basically only wins with Marionette Master, Nadia's Nightblade, and combat damage. The trample, like, we're not desperately in need of that trample, because we can also have the Champion of Lampole, or we have like 3 or 4 very big colorless creatures and then play Aurel's Dust, which is most of the time removing all the blockers. Yeah. And if we don't have if we can't win, we can still sometimes do some very nice shit with like not actually looping stuff, but having like repeatable removal through the Meteor Golem plus Ruthless Technomancer, or yeah, just we can have some value plays. And I like the deck because it's actually quite easy to play because it doesn't give you a lot of options. So yeah, I like it a lot, and I feel like this is one of the decks where actually every card feels like it does have an actual, like, does have more than one purpose in the deck. Like, obviously the ram spells are not necessarily included, but I actually really like the Spine of Ishtar in this deck, and I also really like all the lands in this deck. This land saved me 1 or 2 times. Those lands saved me 1 or 2 times when exile removal is coming, and I'm like, nope. This land saved me. This land saved me. So yeah, very nice. Also, the artifact lands saved me because they allowed me to actually activate my small commander the turn I really needed it. And yeah, like the only cards that feel kinda not right are Arcbound Reclaimer and Briarbridge Patrol. But I really can't cut Briarbridge Patrol because it's making clues. But I am maybe gonna cut Arcbound Reclaimer and also Kodama, right? But the rest seems really awesome. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this deck. And I already gave this deck to like people who didn't have their own decks, beginners, and they also said they are happy with it. So, or were happy with it. So yeah, this is definitely a deck that's gonna stick, and I'm happy to had the idea of making a golem deck and combining it with my clue deck plan stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you had a nice day, and have a nice day, and see you next time.